Okay, everybody, we are back at it. It is 3:31 on this Saturday afternoon. Snow has arrived, and it's here to stay for quite some time. We're going to have a quicker update this go round, just kind of show you what the roads look like at the moment, because this is just the beginning, obviously, of this winter storm. And the snow's really light right now, or it's not light, but it's more that dry, fluffy snow that doesn't have a ton of traction with it. So we're already seeing many road issues across wave country at the moment. We'll start off with a look at the radar as things stand at the moment. Excuse me. And you see that snow is pretty widespread across the entire viewing area. And the roads have gotten covered very quickly. So at first, it looked as though that brine was helping to kind of delay some of that snow from sticking, but obviously, as cold as it is, the longer that the snow continues to fall, the more that snow will continue to stick. So show you a deeper look at radar in a moment, but this is one of the big problems with this kind of drier, fluffier snow. It likes to fly around because it's not too terribly heavy, at least the weight of it. And that means you have a lot of blowing snow. And you can see those visibilities on our E-Town SkyTrack camera are not great along 31W. There's a few folks still trying to navigate that snow, but definitely not good driving conditions. And as expected, travel has gotten worse and worse and worse as we've gone through the last hour or two. So again, if you absolutely have to be out, please be very careful, but we recommend that you don't as we go through the rest of this evening and overnight tonight and into much of the day on Sunday. Closer to home, it's 13 degrees here in Louisville. It feels like 0. And this is what the roads look like. This is a live view at I-65 near Spaghetti Junction. We're looking south, heading into downtown, coming up on Hospital Curve, and you can see the interstates are already in pretty bad shape here in the metro. Again, that brine really helped at first, but now that the snow just keeps coming down, those roads will continue to worsen. And we had the mayor's press conference around 2 o'clock this afternoon, basically saying they're working now 24/7, but even so, there are still plenty more issues that we'll be dealing with as we go through the rest of this afternoon and tonight. So we're going to take you out live to my colleague on weekends, Wave News anchor Alina Noakes. Alina, you're right there in downtown. Snow's coming down. First of all, for a Bayou gal, this is kind of rare for you, right, to have this kind of snow. Just talk about what you're seeing right there in downtown, what the roads look like, and just take us from there if you can.
Yeah, Carson, it's almost like I ushered this in when I came here to Louisville. 2 major snowstorms in the time that I've been here. But we're seeing quite a lot already, like you referenced. It's very light but fluffy snow falling on the ground. If you were out and about today or just were watching to see when the snow would start up, you noticed it probably started about 1:30 today when we started seeing those heavy flurries move into more of downtown. You referenced the fact that, we had the mayor's press conference earlier. I want to just kind of hone in on a couple of things they talked about there. First of all, the priority right now is just managing these roads, managing the roads to make sure that they are safe for the first responders, for utility crews. And to do that, they're encouraging a couple things. First of all, stay off of the snow routes, like don't put your cars in the snow routes. They put that out as an advisory last night, and thankfully they only had to tow about 9 cars off of those emergency snow routes. They were very grateful for that, of course, because it makes the job of these snowplows pretty difficult to do. The other thing I want to talk about is just the fact that we do have people still out on the roadways as the night progresses and the snowfall starts to come down a whole lot more. They're hoping people are going to be staying home because these snowplows and salt trucks are getting to work. If you saw them out and about today, you can see the effectiveness of the salt on the roads and the brine they put out before. Look to my left here, we're off of East Broadway right now, and you can really see where the salt, as people have been driving, has been pretty effective at clearing the snow that has already fallen. Whereas behind me, we've got a little bit of a less traveled road here on South Floyd Street. You can still see it's pretty white right now just because we've had less people activating that salt, clearing that road, obviously. But of course, this is just the start of the snowfall. We are expecting a good bit more as the night goes on. And so where you see the sidewalks right now, where there's less people that have been traveling down them, it's really built up here. This is only the fluffy stuff. It's kind of slick, so you got to be careful if you are out in your, on your front steps going out right now. Just be careful as you're out and about. But I want to reemphasize the point in that because we are expecting a good bit of snow, all the emergency officials, the mayor's office, are really just advising people to please stay home if you can. It does create a dangerous situation on the interstates, on our roads down here. LMPD emphasizing that a lot of these snow routes are the major arteries, is what they call them, of our infrastructure that make it possible for the crews that need to get places like hospitals and emergency shelters. When those roads are clear, when those roads are accessible for them, it makes things work like they should. So just want to leave off on that note. Of course, we're going to be monitoring as these snow conditions continue, Carson, here with you and, of course, live on Wave News as well.
Yeah, Lena, real quick before I let you go, do you have any kind of a eyeball estimate as far as how much snow we've seen in downtown? I'd probably say that's a little under an inch, but it's adding up quick, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not really an expert on snowfall, as you know, coming from Louisiana, but I would have to say it's definitely under an inch right now. It's not been falling fast enough to really build up too much, of course, and then as it comes out in the areas that have already been salted and, it's been melting a little bit in those spots. So it's kind of hard to tell. I would definitely say it's under an inch. You're not building snowmen or starting snowball fights with what's on the ground right now.
Yeah, this dry, fluffy stuff, not good for snow, or for snowmen, I should say. But the wet snow that's on the way tomorrow, that'll be a different story. That's Wave News anchor Alina Noakes live for us in downtown Louisville. Alina, thanks, and try to head back inside if you can so you can warm up a little bit before you head out for our evening newscast tonight. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Carson. We'll do my best.
Yeah, you bet. All right, that's Wave News anchor Alina Noakes reporting live for us in downtown. All right, so here's radar once again. And again, like Alina mentioned, this is the very dry, fluffy snow that's going to blow around and doesn't have a ton of traction with it. So, the roads are becoming rather slick rather quickly. I'm going to read a couple of reports we've gotten as far as those road conditions are concerned here. First of all, LMPD and MetroSafe are now operating on state form. So basically what that means is they're no longer responding to non-injury accidents. So if you do have a non-injury accident, if you do have to venture out into this winter storm, they're going to ask you to just collect the information with the other vehicle or vehicles you were involved with in that accident, exchange insurance information, things like that, because 911 just cannot be used at this point for anything that's not life-threatening. So again, LMPD not responding to non-injury crashes at this point. Another thing we want to pass along, I-65 northbound in Bullitt County. So this is mile marker 115. That's right around the two Shepherdsville exits. If you're familiar with Bullitt County, 65 northbound is closed just south of those Shepherdsville exits due to a 3-car pileup. So again, roads have gotten very bad very quickly. I see somebody in the comments on Facebook mentioning that 65 is shut down near Shepherdsville, like we just talked about. So again, very, very, very quickly, we've seen this situation kind of escalate. And quite honestly, the timing of this system is remaining on track. We expected the snow to move in during the midday, early afternoon time frame. It took maybe an extra hour or two, but once it got here, it started accumulating rather quick. But again, this is kind of I don't want to say appetizer, but this is the lighter stuff that we're going to be dealing with for the rest of this afternoon into this evening. Overnight tonight, those snowfall rates will pick up. There will be rather heavy snow at times, and eventually we still expect to introduce that sleet and freezing rain mix especially across our Kentucky counties as we go through the overnight hours tonight. This is a live view of I-65 in Hardin County. You could see 65 is partially covered, I guess we'll say. This is just south of E-Town, if memory serves correctly. I think the closer side of the interstate you're looking at is southbound. See that semi going away from the camera? That's southbound 65. Northbound, the other direction, not looking. Oh, don't get me wrong, the interstate as a whole is not looking good, but northbound looks a little bit worse than southbound does. Look, bottom line, if at all possible, just avoid traveling if you can, going through the rest of today into tonight. All right. So when we look at road conditions as a whole, you can see there's plenty of issues across much of the region, especially in Kentucky, where it looks as though those accumulations have started earlier before Indiana. And that's not surprising when that moisture is coming in from the south and west. It'll impact our Kentucky counties first and then become more of a problem for Indiana as the evening goes on. Zooming in tighter on the city. Obviously, green means traffic's moving decently, yellow, a little slow. Once you get in those oranges and reds, that's when you're starting to get more worried about folks getting stuck on those roadways and those interstates potentially getting shut down like we have right now in Bullitt County. But look at those pavement temperatures. They're in the mid-20s here in the city. And you notice that sensor out in Harrison County, Indiana, along I-64, 19 degrees is that pavement temperature at the moment. So there's a live look at the Watterson at Taylor Boulevard. Obviously, the shoulders have gotten covered up pretty quickly. But even if the roads look somewhat clear, keep in mind this dry, fluffy snow can cause a lot of black ice, even on treated roads. So please be careful if you absolutely have to be out through this evening and into the overnight hours tonight. I'm going to pull this map up full real quick because I want to give you a live view from the Wave Weather Garden. Let me switch the source here, and you'll notice that those accumulations have also built up pretty quickly in our weather garden as well. The snowboard is out. Let me take that snowboard full. Still under an inch. So like Alina said, still under an inch at this point here in the city, but we're getting closer and closer to about a half inch. So slowly but surely seeing those accumulations start to go up. Now, another thing that we will be watching through the next few days, even once this winter storm is done, of course, is the extreme cold. We're at 13 here in Louisville this afternoon. It's 12 in Paoli. It's 12 in Salem and Corden. Notice our southern counties at 16 degrees. Mumfordville, Campbellsville, and down towards Columbia in the mid-teens at the moment. But when you factor in the feels like temperatures, it's more like right around zero in most spots, 5 below or 5 above in that general range. And as we get into Monday and Tuesday with whatever snow or sleet pack that we have, those temperatures are going to crash even colder than what most models are suggesting. So for that reason, we've got new cold weather advisories in place. You know, we had the one earlier this morning. It ended at noon. Our weather service here in Louisville and our surrounding offices have gone ahead and issued more cold weather advisories. But this one is now in effect until noon on Tuesday. So that gives you an idea of how long this intense extreme cold is going to be. And it may even be beyond Tuesday. Again, I don't expect us to go above freezing again until the first week of February, if that. So this is a very long duration cold spell, dangerous cold, in fact. And I would not be surprised if we see extreme cold warnings go into place for Tuesday morning, when we'll see those wind chills between 20 to possibly 25 below zero in a few spots. All right, let's go to Futurecast, and then I'll show you our snow and ice maps, which really haven't changed since we last saw you earlier this morning. So here's Futurecast around 4 p.m., obviously doing a nice job showing this widespread snow now moving in, this drier, fluffy stuff. Some of that snow will be heavy at times as we go through this evening, especially across Kentucky. We go later into the night, 10 o'clock, no major changes here. Still expecting that sleet, freezing rain mix to move into our southern counties around 10, maybe 11 o'clock tonight. And the million-dollar question continues to be, how far north does that sleet and freezing rain line go? Still expect that line to set up somewhere between Louisville and E-Town. But exactly where is going to quite honestly be a nowcasting situation where we'll just have to wait and see where that battle zone, if you will, settles up, or settles down rather, overnight tonight especially. Further north you are of that line, the heavier snow you'll see, the more significant accumulations. The further south you are, more sleet will cut down on those accumulations, and the greater risk we'll have for freezing rain, especially in our far southern counties later tonight into the day on Sunday. So here's 4 a.m., 7 a.m. Again, expect that line for snow versus mix to be basically right on the Ohio River. And as we go into Sunday morning, that colder air will try to move back in as this winter storm starts to exit. So any kind of a mix we still see in our southern counties will eventually go back to light snow, kind of as the grand finale, if you will. So some of you further south will kind of have this layered cake look to it once again, just like last year, where you start off with snow, then you get a little bit of sleet and freezing rain, then you get another little coating of snow to wrap it all up, which makes travel extremely difficult. And it's really, really hard to shovel up any of that stuff when you kind of have that layered effect. And that'll definitely be a concern down in our Kentucky counties when this is all said and done. 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon, the snow showers continuing. And then as we go into the evening, I do expect those snow showers to fade. There could be some lingering showers or snow showers past 7, 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow night. But that would be it. Just the lighter snow showers, maybe even just flurries that would be with us by then. So for now, our snowfall forecast has not changed. Brian is here. He is in the office looking at the latest data. So what you see here is not adjusted from what I showed you earlier, but we will likely have some adjustments to this snow and sleet totals map coming up on Wave News at 6 here in a couple of hours. But the general idea is still the same. Highest snowfall totals are going to be in southern Indiana, it appears, where we'll likely see a solid foot of snow in most spots, maybe 14 to 16 inches in a few isolated locations. And then the gradient is very, very sharp. The cutoff is very sharp between those of you that see a foot of snow and those of you that see 3 or 4 inches of snow and then a ton of sleet and freezing rain. So the further south you go, those totals will drop off like a cliff. So regardless of the exact numbers, this system is not going to bust when you talk about impacts. This is still a high impact winter storm, especially in southern Indiana, where it's all snow and significant snow at that. Even if you don't see these higher snowfall totals across Kentucky, you're still going to see a ton of sleet, and you're still going to see potentially a lot of freezing rain, especially down towards Campbellsville, Columbia, and Greensburg. And that could be even worse than seeing all snow, right? Because when you introduce that ice component, you have a greater risk for power outages. So just because you may not be getting as much snow as you thought you would or you hoped you would, doesn't mean this system is a bust. This will be a high impact winter storm that causes all kinds of problems for us into early next week and likely beyond, since those temperatures are staying way below freezing over the next 10 days, it looks like, at best. Ice accretion amounts still haven't really adjusted this map either. I think up to 1/10 of an inch is a good bet for places along the parkways. Maybe up to 1/4 inch for Mumfordville, Greensburg, and Campbellsville, which 1/4 inch of ice is right at ice storm criteria. And then you get down towards Columbia, Dare County, we could potentially see ice accretion amounts up towards 1/3, maybe even 1/2 inch. So the greater ice concern is further south, which means lower snow totals, yes, but it also means a higher concern for power outages that we will have to watch in the days to come. Okay, so that's where we are at this point. And we just wanted to give you a quick update, show you we're still here. We're still tracking this winter storm. We're not going anywhere for quite some time. We're just getting started, guys. We got, what, another 20 hours of this before it's all out of here. I'll leave the radar up and we'll go to your comments and questions, and then we'll wrap this up fairly quickly. Let's see. Let's see here. Again, a lot of comments. So if I go quiet for a second, I apologize. I'm just reading through them. DJ King's here. How we doing? How we doing? Angela's got snow in Taylorsville. Appreciate that report. Nikki, I love this. I love this. It's making me hungry. Baking brownies, making the house warm, staying cozy. Yeah, if you don't have anywhere to be, guys, you have an excuse today. You have an excuse to not go anywhere or do anything today, tonight, and tomorrow, especially as this winter storm is rolling through. Hi, Tanya. Hope you're well up in Madison. Let's see. Margaret's got snow down in Lebanon. Shonda sticking to the pavement in Jeffersonville. Yeah, we saw the live view from downtown. The roads are in not so good shape. The interstates are already getting covered in most spots. We have 65 already shut down in Bullock County from a crash. Hi, Janice. Hope you're well. Hello, Kathy. Crispy's got snow where he's at in Valley Station. Brandon trying to be, let's see, winter doing winter things. Yes, that's why it's called a winter storm, right? That's right. Christopher's got snow where he's at over in Lexington. Braden over in Georgetown's got snow. And we mentioned that crash on 65. Thank you, Doug, down there near Shepherdsville. Kimberly, hello. I'm at work in New Albany, live in Louisville, and take the bus. Should I leave early? Thinking about leaving at 5 instead of 8. We did have a update from TARC during the mayor's press conference about 2 hours ago, around 2 o'clock. And they said that some TARC routes could be delayed. Some TARC routes could be canceled depending on snow conditions. So we would encourage you, Kimberly, to go to ridetarc.org, I believe is the website, something like that. And they'll have the most up-to-date bus information for you. So hopefully you'll be able to get home from work this evening. Be careful. Josh, hello. When's the snow supposed to get heavy in downtown? That's going to be later tonight. And we talked about this earlier this morning. This is not the main show, guys, what's moving through now. That's late tonight and during the day on Sunday when snowfall rates will be heavier, when we see that sleet and ice potential come into play. That's the main show. That's when you're really going to see those snowfall accumulations skyrocket, especially in Indiana. So as far as when we see the heavy stuff, that's not until late this evening and overnight tonight. Okay, so this is just the lighter, fluffier stuff that we've got at this stage of the game. Okay, so hope that helps out, Josh. Appreciate the question. Let's see. Timothy, looks like the dry slot out to our west is starting to fill in. It is. Let me pull up a wide map of the U.S. I'll zoom it out. And yeah, as expected, remember, this is kind of 2 winter storms in one. You've got a first wave that's moving through now. The main second wave is still lagging behind way down in the southwest. And eventually, like we're seeing, it appears across Missouri and into Kansas and Illinois, you can kind of see it starting to fill in just a little bit. So there's a chance this could be 24, 28 consecutive hours of nonstop winter weather across the region. This dry slot in Arkansas will continue to fill up as the evening progresses. That is for sure. So, and that's a big reason why the snow totals will be rather high, especially in Indiana, where we'll stay in all snow for the whole event. Let's see. Barbara, hello. When will the snow be stopping? That'll be tomorrow evening, sometime between 7 p.m. and midnight. There's some models that kind of want to get all the snow showers out of here around that 7 o'clock time frame, but I do think we'll have some lingering snow showers and flurries through about midnight tomorrow night. It may not be the heavy stuff anymore, but there will still be flakes flying tomorrow evening. But after that, we'll finally see the snow come to an end. Hi, Richard. Funny how the radar changes when the storm gets here. It showed snowing up in Jennings County around 2 o'clock, but flurries didn't start until around 3:30. And for you, Richard, up in Jennings County, keep in mind the radar that we use most often is at Fort Knox. So for you guys in Jennings County, the radar points way, way up in the sky. It's not really that close to the ground. So the radar is actually picking up flurries that were just flying around in the sky. And it wasn't until 3:30 this afternoon when those flakes actually started to make it to the ground. So it's always an interesting setup when it comes to these kind of winter storms that have to work over that dry air first. A few more comments, and then we're going to wrap it up here so we can get ready for our newscast tonight at 6. Let's see. Brandy asking about Taylorsville. Are you guys in that 12 zone? You're really in that 8 to 12 zone down in Taylorsville. For you guys in Taylorsville, it's more of that 8 to 12 range. So just under a foot is a good bet for you guys down there, mainly because you're going to get a decent bit of sleet tonight and tomorrow, especially tomorrow. That'll cut down on those totals by an inch or two, it appears. Let's see. Adam, snowing in Bloomington, a lot on roads and sidewalks already. Hopefully everybody was able to get home safely. I know they had their championship celebration up there earlier today. Ground is white and PRP. Thank you, Tina. Appreciate you. Let's see. A lot of tiny flakes that are coming down quick. Yeah, it's because they're really dry flakes, right? They're finer, I guess. You get those wet snowflakes coming in tomorrow, there'll be these bigger clumps of snow that'll be flying around. Let's see. So we're actually going to maybe have a break from the snow. Hal asks. Probably not a full-on break, but it might ease. The snow rates might ease just a little bit later this evening. I think we'll likely have pretty consistent precipitation through this entire ordeal. Is Brian here? Yes, he's here. He is here. He just came in a few minutes ago. He's updating the forecast, and you'll see him tonight here on the streaming side of things. So that's where we are at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to get ready for our 6 o'clock newscast on Wave. And that'll be on the TV side of things. Our normal newscast at 6. You will see both me and Brian at 6 o'clock. At 7, we will have a 30-minute special with our winter storm coverage continuing. That'll be from 7 to 7:30 here on digital and on TV. So you kind of, wherever you want to watch us, you can watch that from 7 to 7:30. And then we will have a primetime snow talk with Mr. Good around sometime during the 8 o'clock hour tonight. All right, guys, that's where we are at this point. Continue to stay safe. If you absolutely have to be out today, please be careful. Just be slow, be smart, keep your headlights on. Give yourself plenty of space. If you got to be out today, roads are slick. If at all possible, just lay low. Just enjoy your Saturday evening inside. Stay nice and warm and cozy. And just watch the snow fall, right? Just enjoy it. We'll take care of all the stress that comes with it. We'll take care of all the stress. You just go and enjoy it. And we'll be here watching it all weekend. We'll see you again tonight on Wave News at 6, guys. Take care. Thanks for watching.